Yeah, we work very hard to make sure that the student will have fantastic time at Sheffield Highland. And we got the good feedback from the alumni. They said that really at Sheffield Highland they got very good support for their learning and also for their personal life. And we got very good facility, kind of the number one in UK, very modern, very advanced. The classroom, also the library is very good, and the teaching staff very enthusiastic in supporting for student learning. So we think with our effort and to aim at bring kind of the international academic standard to the student feel very happy about it. At Sheffield Hallam, we apply a lot of innovation in teaching and management. So in teaching, we use a lot of ICT to support for the learning activity, audio, video clip, and also we kind of make sure that our teaching approach focus on the student rather than focus on the tutor. So sometimes we got some innovation, let the student, let the workshop, let the seminar. So the student actually sometimes they play as a tutor in the class. So with that way we find that the student very keen on learning and be active more in learning. We think to engage students with learning, there are a lot of opportunity for us as a tutor to organize learning activities. For example, we applied and bring into the classroom with experiment, stimulation, game, role play, and for that the student can be active in apply what they learned in the classroom. Yeah, to design the kind of the optimum teaching style, we need to understand the learner. Different learner got a different learning style. And to be the lecturer or to be the tutor, we try to understand and mix balance between the different learning style and embed it in one lecture or one session. So normally we kind of design the learning activity for the different kind of student can join in. Some students like discussion, some students like presenting, some students like to just read very in-depth and then bring out the discussion. So for the one, we cannot use only one teaching style, but we have to mix and match different teaching style to match with different learning style. A lot of teaching staff coming from the industry with the plentiful of the industry experience, so they brought their working experience to the lecture, to the seminar, to the workshop, and bring their real life working experience to share with the student. And also our academic staff, they also take a lot of further study, postgraduate study, like a DBA or PhD to matching with the academic development. So I'm teaching undergraduate student, postgraduate student, home student and international student. It's really challenging because the teaching style need to be adapted to different type of learners. And for undergraduate student, normally the teaching we require depth in academic knowledge, and also have to encourage the student to learn and to apply that academic knowledge to the real life. For the postgraduate student, they more mature student, and they bring into the classroom with their working experience. So that is very good discussion in the class in terms of we sometimes play like the colleagues. Where we got sharing the experience and compare and contrast with what academics talk about it. So the difference between the postgraduate teaching and undergraduate teaching. For the postgraduate teaching, we require higher level, where we bring the theory back to contrast with the practice. For the international student, the similar thing apply for undergraduate or postgraduate, but further than that, they are international students. They got the language barrier and they got the cultural difference. So the lecturer need to understand that barrier to break down the barrier and engage them into the class. Yeah. I think for the undergraduate student, they just finished A-level. So normally they enter the university without the prior knowledge of how they should do the essay, how they should answer the question, how they can do the report, or how they can do the presentation for assessment. So normally with the undergraduate student, we provide them more support in terms of the working experience, in terms of communication skill, to help them to build up their career development. And more important than that, we have to equip them with the theoretical and academic knowledge. Yeah. For the postgraduate student, normally we assume that the student enter the postgraduate, they already got some working experience. So they know the real life working experience. But what they may lack is that what the link between their working experience and the academic knowledge. So we bring them back, and sometimes we have to correct their wrong working experience with what is appropriate they should do. Yeah. So a bit of challenge for the postgraduate teaching. Yeah, in terms of they got some mindset, they got some pre-working experience. It might be appropriate, it might be wrong, but what we need to do is that we need to correct and redesign, transform them into the new business thinking, into the new practice. Yeah. For the international student, I think it's more challenging because, as I mentioned before, international student coming with a lot of barrier, and some students they coming from Asia education system where they not very familiar with the Western learning style, where students can have the debate against the tutor, the lecturer. In Asia culture, normally the students they listen and follow whatever the lecturer said. And here, when they first enter the class, they just be very quiet. It's very quiet because they thought that what the teacher said is right, and lack of critical thinking, and they dare not to debate against the lecturer. So we have to encourage them to speak out what they think about, and yeah, to be confident enough to speak out. I think if students serious, keen on learning, and they do well for assessment, they attend the class and very active in discussion, normally they get the very good mark for the presentation. And if they got very good report, they pay enough attention on that, apply enough theoretical concept with the real life practical supporting data, empirical supporting data. Normally, for that kind of essay or report or assessment, they get first class mark or grade for the assessment. And the student keen on learning with a good theoretical concept, with abundant empirical experience, supporting data, they graduate with, I think, first class or the very good degree. Yeah, that's not very difficult to get that. And also the student during their learning at Sheffield Hallam, they a number of students they got the placement when they are in in year 2, yeah, and the university support for that. They opened the placement fair for students to meet with the recruiter. So a lot of support there for the student to gain the placement. Also some student, international student, they gain internship at our partner university in India and China. I would like to see the transformation process. So I would like to see the student when they start the courses without abundant of working experience, without very strong academic knowledge, and a bit shy, a bit lack of confidence. And then after the course, they transform themselves into a confident person with academic knowledge and the communication skills, the working skill. Because our aim is to transform our students, help them to transform the business. So I like to work with the student. They got a little bit at the beginning, and then after that they transform into the different person. Actually, at Sheffield Hallam, we work very hard to design our program, our learning activity assessment method to help the student to gain not only the academic knowledge, but also the communication skill, the working skill, and strategic thinking, critical thinking, to help them to apply other things in the real life, to help them transform themselves.